$5,000. That is the number sitting on the estimate sheet right now in 2026 at your local dealership for a complete automatic transmission replacement. $5,000 to $8,000 depending on the make, the model, and how deep they want to reach into your wallet. And I need you to understand something right now before we go any further. That transmission did not die of natural causes. It was murdered. It was murdered by a deliberate, calculated, semantic lie that your dealership told you 3 years ago when you walked in and asked for a simple fluid change. You asked them to drain your automatic transmission fluid. You were being responsible. You were being proactive. And the service advisor in the pressed shirt looked you dead in the eye and said, "Oh, that's lifetime fluid. It's a sealed unit. You never need to change it." And you believed them. Why wouldn't you? They're the experts. They have the diagnostic computers. They have the brand logo on the wall. But here is the part that makes my blood boil. 3 years later, the transmission starts slipping. It hesitates between second and third gear. You feel a shudder at highway speed. You bring it back, and that same advisor, maybe a different one wearing the same shirt, quotes you $5,000 to $8,000 and says, "Yeah, transmissions just wear out." No, they do not just wear out. That transmission was designed to last 500,000 miles. The engineers who built it, a company called Aisin, created it with service intervals baked into the design. But the dealership ignored those intervals because a dead transmission at 120,000 miles is worth $5,000 to them, while a $20 bottle of fluid every 30,000 miles, is worth almost nothing. That is the scam. A $20 bottle of synthetic automatic transmission fluid, changed on a basic schedule, would have kept that transmission alive for decades. And they told you it never needed it. The industries making billions off your blown transmission want you to think that changing this fluid is dangerous. They invented a word for it. They call it the fluid change shock myth. They say if you change old fluid in a high-mileage transmission, the new fluid will somehow dislodge debris and destroy the unit. That is not how fluid dynamics works. That is a fairy tale designed to keep you terrified and passive. It is basic chemistry, but as always, I am sharing this for educational purposes. What you do in your own garage with a $20 bottle of Aisin spec fluid and a 14mm drain plug is entirely up to you. What I am giving you today is the engineering truth that your service advisor will never ever tell you. Let me take you inside the company that actually builds these transmissions, because this is where the entire scam falls apart. Aisin is a Japanese engineering corporation headquartered in Korea, Japan. Most people have never heard of them, but there is an overwhelming chance that your car's automatic transmission was designed, engineered and manufactured by Aisin or their subsidiary Aisin Warner. They supply transmissions to Toyota, Lexus, Volvo, General Motors, Ford, Stellantis, and a dozen other brands. When Toyota tells you that your Camry transmission is a sealed lifetime unit, they are saying that about a piece of hardware that Aisin designed with a specific maintenance schedule. And here is the critical detail. Aisin's own internal engineering documentation specifies fluid replacement intervals. They know the fluid breaks down. They designed the drain plug. The pan has a removable filter. The entire architecture of the transmission is built to be serviced. The Sealed for Life label did not come from the engineers in Korea. It came from the marketing department in the country where they sell the car. This distinction matters because it reveals the LIE at its root. The people who design the machine say it needs service. The people who sell the machine say it does not. Ask yourself who benefits from that contradiction. Now let me explain why Japanese engineering philosophy is fundamentally different from Western service industry philosophy, because this is the second pillar of evidence. In Japanese manufacturing, there is a concept called Kaizen, which means continuous improvement. The engineering target for a Toyota powertrain is not 100,000 miles. It is not 150,000 miles. The internal reliability target, the number they test against, is 300,000 kilometers, which is roughly 186,000 miles, and that is the minimum acceptable threshold. Many Aisin transmissions in the Japanese domestic market regularly exceed 500,000 kilometers because the Japanese service culture respects the maintenance interval. They drain and fill. They do not argue about it. They do not call it lifetime fluid. They change it on schedule because the engineers told them to. The third piece of evidence is the physics of the clutch pack itself. Inside every modern automatic transmission, you have a series of clutch packs. These are multi-plate friction assemblies that engage and disengage to shift gears. Every single time, those plates grab each other, microscopic particles of friction material shed into the fluid. This is normal. This is expected. This is why the fluid exists in the first place, to carry those particles away from the friction surfaces and hold them in suspension. But the fluid has a finite capacity to do this. Over time, the fluid becomes saturated. The particles stop staying in suspension and start acting as abrasives. The fluid that was protecting the clutch packs is now destroying them. Aisin knew this. That is why they designed the drain plug. If you are learning something right now that your dealership never told you, I need you to hit the like button immediately. I am not asking to feed my ego. Every single like forces the algorithm to push this video past the corporate content filters and into the feed of another driver who is about to get scammed out of $5,000. Do it right now, and tell me in the comments exactly what a dealership told you when you asked to change your transmission fluid. I read every single comment, and the stories are infuriating. I want to hear yours. Now let me explain the villain in this story. And the villain is not a person. It is a business model. The phrase lifetime fluid is the single most profitable semantic fraud in the modern automotive industry. Let me break down exactly why. When a manufacturer labels transmission fluid as lifetime, they are making a technically true statement that is designed to deceive you. Lifetime does not mean the lifetime of your car. It means the lifetime of the component as the manufacturer defines it. And how does the manufacturer define the lifetime of the component? By the length of the warranty. If your powertrain warranty covers 60,000 miles, then lifetime means 60,000 miles. If it covers 100,000 miles, then lifetime means 100,000 miles. After that, the word lifetime no longer applies because the component has officially exceeded its defined life. This is not my theory. This is documented in the warranty language of nearly every major automaker. They are not lying in the legal sense. They are using a word that means one thing to an engineer and a completely different thing to you. To you, lifetime means the life of the car. To them, lifetime means the life of the warranty. The moment the warranty expires, the component is on borrowed time, and they know it. Here is the financial math that proves this is deliberate. The average cost of a drain and fill at a dealership, if they were willing to do it, would be somewhere between $80 and $150 every 30,000 miles. Over the life of a car, driven 200,000 miles, that is roughly 5 to 6 services, totaling somewhere between $500 and $900. Compare that to the revenue from a single transmission failure. A remanufactured transmission for a modern sedan costs the dealership between $1,500 and $2,500. they charge you $5,000 to $8,000 installed. That is a profit margin of $3,000 to $5,000 on a single catastrophic failure. Why would they sell you 6 oil change level services worth $100 each when they can sell you one catastrophic repair worth $5,000? The answer is they would not. That is planned obsolescence dressed up as engineering. And it is happening to you right now in 2026, where a gallon of milk costs $5 and a transmission rebuild costs more than some people's cars are worth. Let me give you the science now, because I want you to understand exactly what is happening inside that sealed transmission that your dealership refuses to touch. Automatic transmission fluid is a highly engineered synthetic lubricant. It contains a base oil, usually a Group 3 or Group 4 synthetic, and an additive package. That additive package includes friction modifiers, anti-wear agents, viscosity index improvers, detergents, and corrosion inhibitors. Each of those additives has a specific molecular structure that degrades over time under heat and mechanical stress. The number one killer is heat. Your transmission operates between 170 and 200 degrees Fahrenheit under normal conditions. In heavy traffic, towing, or aggressive driving, that temperature can spike to 250 degrees or higher. At those temperatures, the long-chain polymer molecules that give the fluid its viscosity begin to shear. They literally break apart. When they break apart, the fluid gets thinner. When the fluid gets thinner, it cannot maintain hydraulic pressure. When it cannot maintain hydraulic pressure, the clutch packs start slipping. When the clutch packs slip, they generate even more heat and even more friction material debris. This is a death spiral, and it is entirely predictable and entirely preventable. The metal shavings are the second killer. As those clutch packs wear, they shed microscopic particles of bronze, steel, and friction material into the fluid. In fresh fluid, these particles are captured by the filter and held in suspension by the detergent additives. But in degraded fluid, where the detergent package is depleted, those particles fall out of suspension and circulate freely. They become liquid sandpaper. They score the valve body. They scratch the clutch plates. They clog the tiny hydraulic passages that control shift timing and pressure. Every mile you drive on degraded fluid accelerates this process. By 100,000 miles on the original fluid, your transmission is essentially running on contaminated, broken down oil that has lost its friction modifiers, lost its viscosity, lost its detergent capacity, and is full of abrasive metal particles. The fact that any dealership would look at this reality and tell you the fluid never needs changing is not ignorance. It is malice with a profit motive. Here is the actual procedure, and I want you to hear how simple this is, because simplicity is what they are hiding from you. The Aisin drain and fill method does not require a flush machine. It does not require dropping the pan. It does not require any special tools beyond a socket wrench, a drain pan, and a funnel. Step 1. You get under the vehicle and locate the transmission drain plug. On most Aisin design transmissions, this is a 14mm hex bolt on the bottom of the transmission pan. You place your drain pan underneath. You remove the bolt. Approximately 3 to 4 quarts of fluid will drain out by gravity. You are not removing all of the fluid. You are removing roughly a third of the total capacity. This is the key. This is what makes a drain and fill safe at any mileage. You are not shocking the system with a complete fluid exchange. You are gently refreshing a portion of the fluid, diluting the contamination, and replenishing the additive package. Step 2. You replace the drain plug, torque it to spec, and add back the exact same volume of fresh Aisin spec fluid through the dipstick tube or the fill port. You check the level. You run the transmission through all gears while parked. You check the level again. That is it. The entire process takes 20 minutes and costs you the price of 3 to 4 quarts of quality synthetic ATF, which in 2026 runs about $18 to $22. Step 3, and this is the critical long-term strategy. You repeat this process every 30,000 miles. Each time you do it, you replace another third of the fluid. After 3 drain and fill cycles, you have mathematically replaced approximately 90% of the original fluid volume. Your transmission is now running on fresh, fully additivized, thermally stable lubricant. The clutch packs are protected. The valve body is clean. The hydraulic pressure is correct. And you have spent $60, total over 90,000 miles, instead of $5,000 on a replacement. Now here is my warning, and I need you to take this seriously. Every single month in 2026, the cost of transmission rebuilds is climbing. Labour rates are up, parts are back-ordered. Remanufactured units that cost $3,500 2 years ago now cost $5,000. The dealerships are not going to stop this scam because it is the most profitable service failure in their entire business model. You are on your own. The only person who is going to protect your transmission is you. You and a $20 bottle of fluid and 20 minutes in your driveway. That is the difference between a car that lasts 300,000 miles and a $5,000 repair bill that comes right when you can least afford it. Subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell before the automotive industry finds a way to bury this information. We are building a library of suppressed engineering knowledge, real science from real engineers, and you need to be here for every single video. Share this with someone who drives a Toyota, a Lexus, a Volvo, any car with an Aisin transmission. They deserve to know what their dealership is hiding. I will see you in the next one.